Hello, BookTube. Sorry if you can hear construction work in the background. We had a 1-month cessation of the construction work on the street outside my house that has lasted otherwise than that 1 month unbroken for 15 years. And that 1 month, I guess maybe somebody died or had a bar mitzvah or something. All the crews took off work for that month. So it was actually quiet here. There was no construction work, no house shaking, earth moving going on directly outside my front door. But that break is over. Now the construction work has started again and will continue forever until someone else dies or someone else has a bar mitzvah. But I'm confident that I can drone it out. And what better opportunity to do that than with the Books and Entertainment Weekly? We have a new Entertainment Weekly, and this feature on this channel, I go through it. It's an entertainment magazine that's popular in dentist's office and at checkout supermarket lines here in America, in which an overview is given, a sort of breathless overview with lots and lots of pictures, every week of all facets of the entertainment world. The movies and the multi-million-dollar TV and music deals, and way at the back of the line, despised and rejected by all the other kinds of pop culture, books. But, as I pointed out on this feature many times, the books nevertheless saturate the whole thing. The rest of the entertainment world might despise and look down on the bookish world. That, I don't know if you saw on Twitter that brief thing that went around where someone made the absolutely anile observation that the latest fashion trend on the runways of Milan and Paris is a book. And they were rightly roasted for it on Twitter because the models involved, the male and female models walking down these runways in their preposterous gear at $22,000 per blouse, carrying a book in their hand, looked absolutely ridiculous. They looked absolutely ridiculous. These are people who, by and large, have the IQ of an antelope on the African plain. They absolutely cannot read and would not, under any circumstances, read, ever. If you put them in an elevator with their cell phone and a book, and the elevator stalled, and their cell phone ran out of power, they would simply stare at the wall with a book right there. They wouldn't do it. But nevertheless, even though the rest of the entertainment world purports to despise us bookish folk, they draw their lifeblood from books. You only have to look at TV shows that are popular, Hollywood movies that are popular, God help us. You will see virtually nothing that doesn't have some sort of origin in the written word. And I found that that's the case in Entertainment Weekly, not just in terms of the background material for what's being talked about, but also in terms of the paid ads. Entertainment Weekly exists from paid ads and subscriptions, and the paid ads in here a huge number of them are for books. So let's just start off. I always do this. We do our Odyssey from the front to the back. And you know, because books are for nerds, that the books are going to be all the way at the back. But we'll see what we can get before then. You have celebrity quotes, and you have a note from the editor. And then we start off with the must list. And the number one thing on the must list is an interview with Kiernan and Shipka about Sabrina the Teenage Witch, which comes from printed material. I watched the first season of Sabrina the Teenage Witch. I was curious to see what it would be like, and it was very odd. The performance of Kiernan Shipka in the title role was an absolute blank. She was a cipher, nothing at all, no charisma whatsoever, and everyone around her was interesting. That was kind of weird to have this blank hole in the middle of the series. And I've been told by people that the second season won't be like that. I've been told, even I didn't watch the whole of the first season, but I've been told that chips away. The actress starts to import more personality, more individuality into her role as the episodes go on. I only watched a handful of episodes, and I was most struck by her aunts, who are witches, and also Ross Lynch, that dreamy Ross Lynch as her human boyfriend, who doesn't know anything about witches. And I kept thinking, what a tough role this is for Ross Lynch to do. He is outgoing. He's loud. He is destined for superstardom if he doesn't destroy himself. He's destined for superstardom. He does everything right on set. All he needs, if you do everything right on set, if you have that thing, that charisma, that watchability, then all you really need to guarantee a really good career of project after project after project with no long stretches in between are two things. You need to be able not to destroy yourself in a world that is pushing destruction on you in the form of alcohol, tobacco, and mountains of cocaine. You need to be able not to destroy yourself. And you also need someone who's good at picking material. If you don't have that, that is so crucial, and so many people in Hollywood don't have it. They don't have somebody that's good at picking material. Worst case scenario, they think they are good at picking material. And they invariably aren't. So, but I'd be curious to see if they're going to just drop him off the back of the sled in the second season. But one way or another, so that starts off the must list. But the must list will also have usually a book on it somewhere. Okay, for movies, they talk about Shazam, the new Shazam movie. I don't think that there's any need. They'll probably go on and on about it, but I have the screener for it. I watched it, and I thought, okay, well, this isn't anything that I recognize. There was a reboot to Captain Marvel that was done about 10 years ago, and this is that to a T. It's not the normal Captain Marvel anymore. It's a different kind of thing completely. So I'm perfectly happy calling it Shazam. And Zachary Levi is Captain Marvel in the movie. And I don't know, the movie is completely stolen by the kid who plays Freddie Freeman. His name is Jack Dylan Grazer. The movie's completely stolen by him. Talk about a future career. I don't know. It's a DC superhero movie, and it's lighthearted. And yet, there's a great deal of it that's filmed in the dark, that's filmed at night. I made this point about Wonder Woman and about especially Aquaman, that one of the big reasons why these movies are so refreshing is because they're filmed in bright light. They're filmed in daylight. Whereas the Superman and Batman movies are filmed mostly at night in the rain. And so it adds a somberness to it. It's the poison of Christopher Nolan. I'm not supposed to blaspheme his name. No one is supposed to blaspheme his name. This completely talentless director who marred Batman in 3 unwatchably turgid movies. I'm not supposed to tar his name. The whole of the DC universe is supposed to bow in homage to him and never do anything that doesn't look like it could be made by him. Well, I'm hoping that Aquaman has changed that, because Aquaman is definitely not a Christopher Nolan movie, and it's made well north of $1 billion by now. It made well north of $1 billion before its DVD sales. So I'm hoping that is over. And Captain Marvel or Shazam is probably in that direction. It's probably going in that direction. Movies that don't take themselves quite so seriously. What I wouldn't give for a not take itself quite so seriously movie about Superman, the greatest superhero of them all, and my favorite superhero. What I wouldn't give for a superhero movie, for a Superman movie that didn't take itself too seriously, until maybe the end, when Lex Luthor or Brainiac might destroy the world, maybe then, but not up until then. Up until then, no. Bright colors, optimism, happiness, a hero who's loved by everyone. What I wouldn't give to see that. Maybe someday I will. Years and years and years ago, I proposed. People were asking me, this was before any of the big reboots of Superman, people were asking me, okay, Christopher Reeve movies are over and done with. Who would you cast as Superman in a big movie? Let's say you have $10 million to make a Superman movie. Who would you cast? And I took 2 paths with my casting. I said, well, if you want a super serious Superman movie, The Rock. Absolutely. He sells the part. He is completely believable as Superman. Pure charisma. And you believe he's bulletproof. But at the time I said, that's if it was a serious Superman movie. But I don't advocate a serious Superman movie. I advocate a Superman movie that will have everyone in the audience smiling from the very first moment to the very end. And my choice for that Superman would be Patrick Warburton in his prime. He's, I think, probably a little too old for it now. But in his prime, Patrick Warburton, who some of you may know as Putty from Seinfeld. The face painter from Seinfeld. He would be perfect. Would have been perfect. I'm sure there are people like that, but nobody listens to me. So what do we got? We keep going with. Oh no, there's another book thing. Look at that. This is Aaron Summers' Stay Up with Hugo Best. Another book thing. Wow. About a washed-up late-night talk show host. A very entertaining book. Okay, then we have the 15 greatest concert documentaries ever made. Oh, because Amazing Grace is being issued. The terrific Aretha Franklin documentary is being issued. So they're doing a feature on other great concert documentaries, go and see Amazing Grace. Oh, go and see it. It will send shivers down your spine. Then, wow, more books. Good Lord. See what I mean? Even in the must list, 3 items have been books. And this one is by David Canfield. David Canfield and Leah Greenblatt work themselves to a tizzy in every issue of Entertainment Weekly. They're all over it. And they praise Stephen Rowley's book, The Editor, about a young author who is edited by Jacqueline Kennedy Onassis, a book I really ended up liking. And okay, so this has been opted for Hollywood by Greg Berlanti, and David Canfield lines up other books that Berlanti has optioned, other books that he has optioned for the screen, including All That Heaven Allows, the biography of Rock Hudson. And I guarantee you that whoever stars in the movie version of All That Heaven Allows, playing Rock Hudson, will win an Oscar. You heard it here first. Whoever does that will win an Oscar. I just have no idea who it will be. Who could play? I mean, Armie Hammer? Who could play Rock Hudson in a movie of Rock Hudson? Anyway, okay, then we get the double-page spread, the huge article on the cover feature, which is something called BTS. It's K-pop. The boys are back in town with a new album. I know nothing at all about that. I'm sure that they are an international phenomenon, selling a squintillion albums, but I have no idea. I don't know anything about them at all. Maybe you saw them piled on the Klieg-lit couches of Ellen DeGeneres and Jimmy Fallon, trading light bilingual banter with their star-struck hosts. Maybe it was when they spoke solemnly on mental health and self-love at the United Nations General Assembly last September, or when a wall of dolphin-like screams greeted them as they rolled into February's Grammy Awards in trim maxing tuxedos, their hair tinted various shades of pastel macaron. Or maybe the cover of this magazine is the first time you've truly noticed BTS. So this is just a gigantic profile of this band. I don't know anything about them. I've never heard any of their music. The only thing that I know about them is what I can see in the article, which is that they are all 80 pounds. Each one of them is 80 pounds, and they're all dressed in baggy clothing like a scarecrow. They're wearing scarecrow clothing, so that you can't, not only are they 80 pounds, one meal every week, but you can't see them at all other than their faces. And I noticed that all the faces are extremely unthreateningly epicene. Right on the border between male and female, right on the border between young and old, young and adult. I'm assuming that's a key element of their appeal, is that okay, then a big article on Jordan Peele's remake of The Twilight Zone. A big article on Good Girls, which I've never seen. A round-robin talk with the cast. Oh my. Then a huge article on Easter eggs in movies. All sorts of things you may or may not have noticed. Okay, I don't know. That's okay. All right, then Anthony Bresnikan does a long article on Stephen King, the new Pet Sematary. The new Pet Sematary, starring John Lithgow. They do an interview with Stephen King. Okay, they ask him, the directors of the new film, Kevin Kolsch and Dennis Widmeyer, changed some big things, but they also kept a lot faithful. How do you feel about the new Pet Sematary? And Stephen King, our greatest living author, says it's effing great. Never speaks without an F-bomb, never. It's a grown-up, adult kind of movie. It's not like 12 semi-clad teens get killed in a summer camp. Then Entertainment Weekly asks him, does it bother you that a different child is resurrected, the older girl instead of the little boy? And King answers, it's something different. Do tell. They did a good job. Boy, I saw all the stuff that came online when people realized that it was Ellie rather than Gage that got run over in the road, and I'm thinking like, man, these people. It's so nuts. You can take Route 301 to go to Tampa, or you could take Route 17 and go to Tampa, but both times you're going to come out at Tampa. You know what I'm saying? Yes, I do know what you're saying. Yes, I do. Yes, you are the world's most popular author, outright admitting that your characters are interchangeable. And yet, will your fans see that? No, they won't. They'll say, boy, he's great. He's outright admitting that there's no difference. It doesn't affect the book at all, one way or another. So Hester Prynne lives, so Hester Prynne dies. You're gonna get to the end of Scarlet Letter anyway. You know what I mean? These people. Okay. All right. Then an article on Daniel Day Kim, who's in the new Hellboy movie. There's a long profile on him. Okay, then a long profile about the new FX series Foss Vernon, about Bob Fosse and Gwen Verdon, the dancer. Sam Rockwell plays Bob Fosse. Okay, great. Oh no! Oh no! Oh, I still haven't got anywhere near the books. But this is gonna hit really hard. Oh my! I'm gonna linger over this. The next thing is a long feature on stuff that's coming out up on Broadway in the spring. And the reason it's gonna hit me really hard is because I used to go to Broadway all the time. It used to be affordable. I used to do it all the time. The weekends, I would go on the weekends, I would see a couple of shows. I would sack out with somebody. I'd see a couple more shows, and then I would come back. And I don't do that anymore. Okay, so Burn This. With Adam Driver. Oh wow! Oh, these are all going to be shows that I want to see. The Broadway adaptation of Beetlejuice. There's a new thing called Hillary and Clinton about the Clinton marriage, also starring John Lithgow. There's a new a new Broadway adaptation of Tootsie. Oh boy. Be More Chill, which is from a book. Hades Town. This an adaptation of the myth of Orpheus and Eurydice, starring Reeve Carney, 6-pack-a-day tobacco addict. What the Constitution Means to Me. The 25th, can that be right? Broadway's Beauty and the Beast has been on Broadway for 25 years? Good Lord. Oh, a whole feature on Broadway shows. I'm not going to see any of them. That stinks so bad. All right, so then we go to the movie section, which has a whole bunch of stuff that I don't know. Oh wow! Oh my God! Wow! Chris Nashnawati gave The Beach Bum, the new Matthew McConaughey movie, a D+. That's virtually unheard of for an entertainment movie. They hated it. Good Lord! Well, it was fun while it lasted. Still, it might be time to start wondering if the reconnaissance is finally over. Hard on the heels of January's god-awful Serenity, we're now treated to The Beach Bum, a shambling, self-indulgent inside joke about a perpetually stoned holy fool from the Florida Keys named Moondog. I'll give you one guess who plays him. Oh, goodness gracious. All right, well. But also another feature on Amazing Grace. Oh, fantastic. And it's done by Leah Greenblatt, who does movies as well. I swear, these people must either spend all day, every day in the office, or they must be happy hacks like yours truly, one way or another. Wow. There's a cumulative power in the seemingly mundane details. The mustachioed member of the choir lost in a high note, his body trembling as a tear runs down his cheek. Mick Jagger clapping in the back pew in an awed grin on his face. Aretha's dapper preacher father gently mopping his daughter's brow. It's all so immersive that it starts to feel less like a movie than like a time machine, a gift of one last grace note from the great beyond. Fantastic. Oh boy, oh boy. All right. Okay, then we do TV. We do TV, Legends of Tomorrow, Veep is ending. A TV movie about Bruce Lee. There's an article about the villainess in the second season of the aforementioned Sabrina. There's the devil. The devil makes an appearance. The devil is the villain in the second season of Sabrina. But he has a female sort of agent and handler and prophet called Madame Satan, I think. Yeah, Madame Satan, who's played by Michelle Gomez, who is, you will know her if you're a Doctor Who fan, she was Missy. An absolutely star-making turn as a female master. And they do an interview with her about her role as the devil's. They ask her what she thinks about playing evil so much, and she says, "I enjoy it just as I just enjoy being thoroughly bad." And listen to this line. This is the final line of her interview. What a fantastic line! This face clearly was born to play witches and bitches until the day I die. Fantastic! Oh my! Oh, what a great line. Okay, then we're still in TV, but we're verging into books. This is I don't know if you can make it out here. This is Andrew Rannells. He did a book called Too Much Is Not Enough. They do a tiny little thumbnail. I don't know why Entertainment Weekly does this. He did a memoir about growing up gay and show tune, gay and Hollywood in the Midwest, in the middle of nowhere, with very little in the way of understanding, and then making his way to New York and making it big. And he has since done that. He has since made it big in New York. So they do a long interview with him. Then we have a what to watch section. They call out Our Planet by David Attenborough. Really should see it if you haven't seen it. It's amazing. And yet more what to watch. Yet more what to watch. Then music. The music section. We still haven't got to the books. They're all the way at the back of the magazine. Oh wow. Okay. There's an article here about Lance Bass. Lance Bass from NSYNC is doing a documentary about Lou Pearlman, the boy band manager. It's called The Boy Band Con, the Lou Pearlman story, about what it was like for this guy who was the Svengali figure of so many boy bands and also a predator, a sexual predator of the boy band members. So it was a literal Faustian bargain where he gave them stardom, made them something out of nothing. And in return, one or more of that band would have to pay the price. They would have to pay the price. That was the price for their success. How weird for Lance Bass to do a documentary on it. Pearlman died a couple of years ago and is, I assume, roasting forever in hell. But wow, I would watch that documentary. Okay, all right, it's finally over. Our long national nightmare is finally over. We've got back to the book section. And Leah Greenblatt starts off with 2 short story collections. Amy Hempel's Sing to It and Brian Washington's Lot. Stories hardly have any rules except one. The telling needs to end somewhere short of whatever qualifies as a novella. Otherwise, they're free to do almost anything, which can sometimes leave the reader feeling like a kind of literary Goldilocks. This one too hot or too cold, too random, too rambling, or too fleeting to mean anything at all. But oh, when they get it just right. Okay. All right. Well, when they get it just right, they're fantastic, but neither one of these does it. So I guess she was taken with it. She gives them both high grades. Then David Canfield, the other part of our dynamic duo, reviews My Lovely Wife by Samantha Dowling. He seems to like it. In Downing's skillful hands, My Lovely Wife takes several wild turns, each bleaker than the last, and its sturdy construction bolsters the insanity. But Downing's best choice here is her narrator, the unnamed husband, a simple fellow suckered into an unhealthy habit by his beguiling wife. His commentary reframes his wife's psychopathy with dark, hysterical mundanity, as if a mere symptom of their discontent. Quote, every time Millicent cuts a piece of grilled chicken, I think about her killing Lindsay. And then the final line of the review is, so it goes in marriage. Okay, I'm not sure what experiences David Canfield has had in marriage, but okay. And then there's he does another feature. God, this guy must never sleep. He does another feature on memoirs. Hankering for the next wild or just kids, these stunning true stories breathe new life into the memoir genre. Actually, this is written by David Canfield and Leah Greenblatt, but they should still both be keeling over with exhaustion. And the ones they do, we've seen a couple of them. There's Raynor Wins the Salt Path, Long Live the Tribe of Fatherless Girls by T. Kara Madden, and The Light Years by Chris Rush, which we've seen. All of them high grades, all of them liked. Okay, well, okay, and then that's it. That is then the back of the issue gives the key to all the Easter eggs. You get a key to the Easter eggs so that you know where they've planted them in. Oh, you've got to be kidding me. No, are you still there? I got a low battery warning, but it didn't stop the video this time. So that is it. That is the Books in Entertainment Weekly. Another issue of Entertainment Weekly gone through, which turned out to be, as always, suffused with literary content. You just have to look around for it. So I'm going to wrap this up before my phone gives out, but I'll be back. Thank you, BookTube.